Yeah, we got to get that out of the
Let's get back.
That thing like
Let's get that Scooby snack.
Yeah, right.
Let's go.
That cool Scooby snack going.
Come on.
All right.
What?
All right.
What?
The hell happened?
War product, based with hard luck. Based with hard luck. Card shots, thieves, murderers with hard luck. Pimps and card shots, thieves, murderers with hard luck. Your product, based with hard luck. Based with hard luck.
Come on.
Card shots, thieves, murderers with hard luck. Pimps and card shots, thieves, murderers with hard luck.
Good morning and welcome to the Hard Luck Show. I'm your certified host, Steve Luciano.
Come on.
Big Lucky. And got the Indian across from me.
True Mahan Bone, American Indian, Southern Californian, elegant barbarian.
Yes. And old Blue Eyes in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus
Christ. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gee.
And we got fucking King Salmon and motherfucking Big Pick Mike.
Yeah.
Michelangelo in the house.
Yeah.
Yep, we got on visuals. We have a special guest
Mm-hmm.
talking 420 shit.
Hey.
Hey, come
Right?
up. The show 420.
It is. Well, we're talking 420. We're talking 420.
Hey.
Talking 420.
Listen.
This guy brought us the goods.
I had to bring some.
This is my friend, Mr. Scooby from Mystery Baking. Well, let's welcome Scooby. Scooby!
Hey, what's up, man?
How'd you get the name Scooby?
Man, bro, it's a long story. I've been rocking Scooby since high school.
Mm.
And, man, it's a long story, but, you know, the name has helped me a lot because before that, I was in a, like, really ugly path. And, like, I had, like, a really messed up name, you know? So I feel like my name had to do a lot with, like, what I was going through.
Mm-hmm.
So when Scooby was given to me, it felt like I started having more fun. I was just being more friendly with people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it just...
I mean, Scooby
You know what I
was a
mean?
good dude, man. That was a
Scooby
good
good,
dog. He was having a good time.
You know, he was just there. He was a stoner dog with the stoner friends, you know?
His name used to be Maniac.
Yeah.
He went-
And then they went from Maniac to Scooby. He's
Wow.
It was kind of bad. It was like
Yeah.
some crazy like that.
Okay. I like
I-
Scooby.
Yeah.
I'd rather
Scooby's
like to
better,
know
yeah.
Scooby.
Yeah, I
The
like
other
Scooby.
guy, that sounds like it might cause
You
some...
look
house.
like a Scooby too. You
I
look
do,
like
I grew into it. you
Yeah,
know? I
yeah.
used to be skinny too, but you know, after you eat all those big sandwiches, the Scooby sandwiches, man.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Remember that?
He would
Yeah.
get a sandwich.
He did-
They'd have to
in one
tie
bite.
it down.
Yeah,
They'd have to
yeah,
take
yeah,
it,
yeah,
right?
I
They'd stack
remember.
it all up.
They'd have a bunch of stacks of them, and he'd eat them like that.
Hey, bro, I just showed my daughter Scooby, the Scooby-Doo cartoon, which is completely different than the
Way
cartoons,
different.
right?
Way
Yeah.
She
It's
loved
like
it.
fucking. That was like cartoons with like a real rough edge to
Oh,
it.
man.
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
Right?
Like you could kind of tell that they were like reusing
Tweakers
old
and
backgrounds.
using- yeah.
Oh,
Like they were
sure,
like,
yeah.
well, we'll just have like 5 minutes of them running through
Running
doors,
around.
the same
Well,
doors.
what's the one with the one main dude? He was like all scruffy. His shirt was all
Shaggy,
long.
Shaggy,
Yeah, he looked like he'd been up for like a
Oh,
week
man.
on LSD.
He had been. He
Right.
was
Whenever
smoking.
they open the doors, smoke will come out.
Right, yeah.
His and what was weird about it was that his like goatee was
The
the same
whiskers.
color as his skin. It was like they were like, we're not spending extra money on his fucking.
Yeah.
We're just
They're
gonna.
probably too high.
But I could never figure out Fred because he
Yeah.
was like, I mean, he had like that puffy blonde hair and then he had a scarf tied around his neck.
Yeah.
The fuck is that, bro? That wasn't. Was it an ascot?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like an ascot.
What
right?
kind of a young dude is wearing an
An
ascot
ascot.
driving a van?
You know?
Yeah, like
Right?
the whole thing's kind of fucking
Yeah,
crazy.
it's
Hey, you want to come see my pet dog? You know, get in the van.
What's
Yeah, Scooby.
But it was fun, man. Scooby-Doo was fun. I grew up with that, you know? I don't know.
Right.
Where'd you grow up at?
Man, I grew up in Van Nuys, North Hollywood area. I came from Brazil when I was 11. I landed right there on Woodman and Kittredge in like San Fernando Valley. And then I grew
Vallejo.
up right there. Yeah.
Where from Brazil?
São Paulo.
São Paulo.
São Paulo.
So I came young from São Paulo.
But like, how old were you?
So when I turned 12 here. So like I was
I must
11 and a half, you know?
Huge change.
Oh, culture shock.
Oh,
Just
big
from the
time.
women alone. Like you're in Brazil at 11, you're starting to hit, some interesting spaces and you're probably in the paradise of hot chicks.
I mean, man, where I lived, you know, it wasn't like that. You know,
Ah.
it was. I lived.
you
in
were
the-
like in the one area where
I
there was
was.
ugly chicks in
I
Brazil?
was.
Now I wonder why they called you maniac.
Unfortunately.
I I go crazy too. So they shot you to Van Nuys.
Yeah, Van Nuys, right there. Woodman and Kittredge. I landed right there straight, like that's where I started, right there. Woodman and Kittredge. And that's like a little, crazy area. It got really bad while I was growing up there.
Yeah.
And then we had to move. We moved to North Hollywood, which is like the next city over.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's been like, I've been there my whole time in America,
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah, man.
Portuguese.
Portuguese.
That ain't Spanish.
Bro, it wasn't Spanish. I had to learn Spanish. I had to learn English.
Was it? Well,
bad.
you had to learn both.
Yeah, it was tough.
Because like what's
that's tough.
confusing is like when you read Portuguese, you can see the Spanish in there.
A little bit.
But then when you
Little bit.
hear it's pronounced, it's completely different.
Yeah, man. There's like a funny thing I tell like with my friends is that in Spanish, like when you say brinca means jump, and in Portuguese it means play. So my neighbors, I was a kid, I was 11 years old, so I was playing with my friends in the neighborhood, and I was like, hey, let's play, and I'll tell them in Portuguese, hey, vamos brincar, and then they'll start jumping, and I'm like, what y'all doing? Like, you know what I mean?
You told us to jump.
Yeah, like I didn't know, I was just like a little kid not understanding, like,
Right.
But that was,
Would
that's how it started.
communication from somebody who speaks Portuguese coming to California
Yeah.
have an easier time of speaking Spanish or
Yeah, it
a
was tough.
white kid moving and coming? There's some things that loan itself to each other with Spanish and
There was
Portuguese.
a lot because the first thing I learned in Spanish was Despacito, because I needed to
That song.
no, but it's like slowly, so
Yeah.
whenever they'll start speaking Spanish, I'll be like, oh, Despacito, so like they will speak slower, so then
To
I
help
can
you
understand and comprehend.
Do you
what
speak
they're saying.
fluent Spanish now?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Still
I do.
speak Portuguese.
I still speak Portuguese. I only speak Portuguese with my mom.
Obrigado.
Obrigado. So it's like
Yeah.
I'm losing the
Right,
Portuguese
because
a
you're
little
not
bit.
using exercising it enough.
Yeah. I don't have any.
I think
not too many Brazilian friends. A couple, but,
But
very minimal.
I mean, Brazil is a very influential, powerful.
Well, wait a minute, bro.
Oh, what?
Just hold on a second there, because Brazil has. I feel like Brazil's only been recognized only over the last 15 years.
Yeah,
Maybe.
It's
know,
true.
and
it's true.
prior to that, Brazilian people would come and people kind of didn't really know or understand and a lot has to do with. I'm just gonna say a couple things.
Go ahead.
Huge mixed martial arts fight scene.
Oh.
Fighters coming from Gracie Jiu-Jitsu
Gracie
and all
Jiu-Jitsu,
that.
that
is,
helped a lot.
Synonymous with
Brazil.
Brazilian people,
Because
right?
you have to say it, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Right.
That's in the name.
There's a lot of that. There's also have you looked at PBR lately? PBR, fucking professional bull riding and stuff like that.
No.
It's dominated by fucking
Bro,
Brazilians.
Brazil's
bro.
a huge thing.
Well,
huge.
well-
It's been dominated, bro. So now you go out to Texas and they're doing PBR.
Yeah.
Half the champs are all Brazilian cowboys.
Right.
The other thing is, and these are just different things that Brazil brings to America, which I think is really gained in popularity.
Yeah.
I think too is the Brazilian food and diet, and a lot of the
sure.
fogo de chaos and a lot of the, what do they call it? The gaucho grills and that
Gaucho
whole
grill.
gaucho type of thing.
Cowboy.
Right. And they're cowboys from South America is what they
Yeah.
are. They
Yeah.
love the same things
It's a
cowboys
huge-
love here.
Hey, man,
It's a huge
cowboy
thing.
shit started in South America.
There you go.
For real. I'm not bullshit.
Don Quixote?
No.
Oh,
Ca-
okay.
That's Spanish. But the gauchos or whatever, cowboys, whatever you want to call them, when the Spanish, so Brazil is the Portuguese.
Yes.
And in fact, the Portuguese king, when he was exiled out of Europe, lived in Brazil.
Is that right?
Yes. So while you're right, America probably didn't really understand anything about Brazil until the last 10, 15 years, from a global perspective, Portugal was one of the first motherfucking European countries that was in the New World doing things. But what they brought, the Portuguese and the Spanish brought, they knew back then, 1492, all that bullshit, right?
Mm-hmm.
They knew that when you went to colonize, when you wanted to set up shop in someone else's country, you had to bring the food you ate. So they brought the cows. There was no cows in America before that. South America, nowhere. So they brought Spanish cattle there. And that's why the mixed Indians, the Indians, some of the whatever European more whatever, and the Brazilians, all that stuff. That's why they're gauchos, cattle. That's why they're cowboys, and that's coming up from the Southwest. It wasn't like there was cowboys in New York,
Right.
that fucking rode out over here. That's a whole bunch of horse shit. I'll tell you right now. But anyway, right? Am I wrong about that?
No, you're right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. In Brazil, the like cowboy scene is huge.
Right.
It's a big deal. Like the music is big. Like when I went back in Brazil in 2013, one of the parties we went to was like a cowboy party, and I mean there was like 25,000 people to watch the bullfights. You know, the rodeo.
The rodeo, yeah.
The rodeo, yeah. So
Rodeo.
rodeo, yeah.
That's
rodeo.
right.
So it's a big thing over there, you know.
The
And-
favelas,
Oh,
just
man,
all the
yeah.
stuff that we hear about now. You didn't know all about that about Brazil 20 years ago. 25 years ago, they just didn't know. It wasn't like the knowledge
wasn't
that we
promoted,
have
yeah.
today. And when you go down to Brazil, and there's all these hot chicks, and like that wasn't like people weren't talking about that back then.
Right.
They weren't like, oh, you know, when you go down to Brazil, fuck, and there's chicks. No. So I think it's become. I think
No.
we've gotten to find out about Brazil and how many different cool things there are through the great people and athletes and different people that have come up from
Yeah,
Brazil.
that's all kind of new.
Yeah, yeah.
Because when I was in Brazil, it was still like third world country.
Yeah.
You know, it was like where I lived, there was no like running water. You know,
Right, right.
so it's like a truck will come and fill up your water tank every
how
couple
did
of
you
weeks.
get? How did you get lucky enough to get to America?
Man, you know, I don't know if it was luck, but you know,
Yeah. How did you get so lucky to get the Van Nuys?
I mean, I originally was gonna land in San Francisco, and then when my dad came, the person that he was supposed to meet in San Francisco didn't pick up the phone. So his mom has helped set up the meeting with somebody that was living in San Francisco, and then when he landed in San Francisco, like nobody picked him up at the airport. Like that person wouldn't just pick. Like they weren't picking up the phone. So you know he had to like find his way. So he found somebody else that was living in LA. So he drove all the way to LA, and then started a life here. And then like 6 months later, then me and my mom and my sister came. So it was,
Think about
you know,
that.
and
Think
he was
about
like
that.
30 years old when he did it, you know. So, you know, like when I was 30, I was thinking about that. Like, yo, man, like you gotta imagine leave everything you have and go start a whole new.
Your wife and kids.
Life
crazy,
in
you know
another
what I mean?
country, learn the language, the whole shit, and then in 6 months you better be ready, motherfucker.
Cause
We're sending your fucking kids and your wife up, so you better
Yeah.
have shit in order.
Right.
Figure it out.
Crazy.
You have all the answers, right? Go.
That's tough, man. You know,
That's-
he had
that's-
a-
Yeah, but so listen. It is tough, but also, right, when you live in a community where they're driving the water up to you, you know how to handle adversity.
Right, yeah.
So you got a leg up.
This shit ain't, yeah.
He's
It ain't,
comfortable,
oh, what do we got to wait for a
oh,
bus
what is
for
this?
20 minutes?
No, I can't do that with push-ups. I don't even
man.
care.
Under that air conditioning? I'll wait over
air
there. all, you know,
conditioning.
like
I
that.
know, I'll live
You want
right
to
here.
clean the windows and then
Right.
eat a meal? Oh, yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Outwork all these fucking idiots watching Scooby Doo every day. Comfortable, living comfort life.
Right.
You know, it's hard work, man. He put in a lot of hard work. He was a janitor at the hospital when he like his first job over here. So and now he works at UCLA. Like he's doing big things. He works in the cancer department, and like he ended up going to school, learning trades. Like he put in the work. You know.
Is it hard? Let's just cut the bullshit.
Yeah.
Is it hard to have a father who can say to his son, like, you think this is hard? I came here with nothing. Now I'm doing cancer research. Like,
He
what are
kicked me
you
out
do-
of the house at 17, bro?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, no, he was
First generation
it was
shit is tough.
You know,
Because how can you outstory the fucking, we left everything we knew?
nah,
You can't beat that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, you're 17, like go out and get it.
Yep.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
There's nothing
Like-
wrong with you.
Right. Both
That's
doing legs
my
work.
dad's favorite thing. Ain't nothing fucking wrong with you.
Oh, you
Hands
want to
ain't
go to
broken?
school? Yeah, I got some for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what's crazy? I know this is kind of going back to what we were talking about before, but I think this is kind of an interesting, a cool thing. So, bullfighting, right? So the bullfighting that we're, at least in the stateside, kind of aware of is the Mexican style bullfighting, which is, you know, at some point the matador.
I think that's actually Spaniard style.
I'm going
bullfighting.
right. I'm glad you said that, my friend. Thank you.
Oh.
So that goes back to the Spaniard style of bullfighting. Portuguese has its own bullfighting style.
Is that right?
They don't kill the bull.
I like it.
We went to Portugal. When we were there, we watched it. And what they do is, I don't know if they do this in Brazil, but in Portugal, Portuguese bullfighting is they fuck with the bull, make them dizzy and do all this crazy shit, right? And at the very end, like 5 or 10 of them line up, and they wrestle the bull down to the ground. And when the bull goes and tries to gore him, they time it so that they go right between. Like 3 or 4 dudes will go right between the horns and grab on and start choking them. And the other guys will grab legs and everything, and they'll bring them down. And in the Portuguese way, you don't kill the bull. You wrestle that motherfucker down to the ground.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Damn.
So I don't know if they do that in the Brazilian one, but there's a difference between Spanish and Portuguese bullfighting.
Yeah, man. Brazil, there's a lot of love in Brazil, you know? Like, even like the flag is like one of the only flags that don't have the color red in it because it didn't win its independence through war, you know? So it's like...
How did it get its independence?
So the way that it was taught to me in school was that some like I forget the names, you know, it's been a while, but
Right, George Washington.
Whoever was there at that time from Portugal, like creating chaos, his dad gave the country to him, and then like he fell in love with the native, and then that's how the country started, you know.
You know what they say, when you go red, you stay there till you're dead.
You know,
Indian women, boy, they grab a hold of you there, and they'll never let you go.
you're done.
So tell me, man,
Yeah,
how did mystery baking? How did this start to come?
Yeah.
When did this start
And-
flaring up? And you got it. Like, how did this come
Man.
to be? Do you have a background in this?
bro. I mean,
Yeah.
the story is crazy, you know. but
Please.
Please.
I'll tell you some of it. I don't know if I can put all the details in like into the time we have here today, but it's like I was going through it, you know. I was homeless, and you know, I had a meningitis. I was in the hospital for 30 days, and when I came out of that, I lost everything, man. I lost my job. I was having a kid at the time. Me and my girl kind of split. She went to her mom's house, and I had to like know where to live. I had a van, and I started sleeping in the van. I was just homeless, you know. I was just going through it, and
How long ago is this?
that was in 2007.
Okay. All right.
What year is it now?
2009. No, 2009.
2009. All right.
2009.
So we're talking about 13, 14 years ago.
Yeah. So
Okay.
2009, I was homeless right there on Van Nuys. I had to sleep in the van, and then the van broke down. And then like I got in a car accident. Like it was bad, man. So I was just going through it. My hair wasn't there. I was just fucked up, you know. So I had to get a job. I was like, man, this is not gonna work. And I started working at a hospital as a security. From there, I was like, man, one job is not enough. It took me a long time to get to that point, like 9-8 months. And then I decided, like, yo, man, I'm gonna work. Like, fuck this. Like, I don't want to be homeless no more. I just didn't care about nothing. Like, I lost all my friends. I just didn't want to just deal with nobody. I just wanted to be myself and work. So
Yeah.
I got a job, then I got a second job, and then I got another job working at a dispensary as a security guard. So working there, like, you know, I network my way. I just be myself, you know, like I met the right people, and one day they needed some brownies. I went home and made some brownies. I brought them back, and then just started like that, you know. I just made some brownies for the shop. Brought them to the shop.
But
They
did you
liked
already
it.
have like a baking like background?
Nah, man,
Like,
it was
were you making
necessity,
butter
bro.
horns?
It was straight up necessity. Homeless, going through it. I didn't have no experience. I didn't know how to make the butter. One of the ladies that was a patient there, she gave me the recipe. Like I was just going through it. I needed some outlet, you know. And so the manager at the store, he's like, man, if you make some brownies, I'll buy them from you. And there's more to it, like, you know, but that's kind of like when it kind of got serious, you know.
You started making those infused brownies?
Infused brownies, the Scooby snacks.
Scooby snacks.
So, and I was
Scooby
designing flyers for parties before, you know. So I've been a promoter since since I was in 8th grade. I was throwing flyer parties. So I designed it like a Scooby snacks label. I put it in there. So when I brought it to the shop, it looked really nice. It didn't look trappy, you know. It had like a Scooby-Doo thing on it, and then everyone liked it. So I just kept making them. And then, that from that on, I just started making more stuff. I started making the Rice Krispie treats, and I just more and more and more and more.
Now, did this dispensary start buying more and more of your stuff?
They started buying more and more, and they were probably going through like 200 brownies a week, you know.
Fucking great.
So,
right?
but they were small, you know. They were like a little circle. I have pictures of them online, like small little circle. They were like, I was selling them for like $1 or $2, you know. I wasn't making no money, but it was just like one more thing to be busy, you know. Like,
right.
Man, when did you sleep?
Man, I didn't sleep, man. I was working the shop 12 hours, 13 hours every day, and then go home and bake for like 2 or 3 hours. Package them in the morning, bring them to the store the next day. Like,
how would you package them? Just yourself?
So I had like a baggie, like, you know, like the baggie you put a 5-sack in, but it was a much bigger, you know, like probably like 3 inches by 3 inches, and I'll put like a small tiny brownie in it. I had I printed like a business card, and I just stapled the business card on the plastic. And I brought them in like that, you know. I didn't know how many milligrams it was. I didn't know how much weed I was using. I don't know if I was doing it right, but
yeah,
I just started, you know.
They liked them.
They liked them. They wanted more.
Was that the time where like you needed like a doctor's prescription to hit up the dispensary?
This was in 2010, so you needed like a
yeah.
You needed a doctor note,
right?
Yeah, and it was really hard to get one. Right. Not really.
right.
But yeah,
right. You
know,
got them in the market, supermarket parking lots. They were running up selling them.
They was running them up, man.
Yeah.
At one point, there was like $30 for one, you know. So
right.
I mean, I had one. I had to get one just to work as a security at the dispensary, just to have one, you know.
So the first stage of mystery baking is basically you just, you know, hand to foot, just fucking moving your, figuring out whatever. When do you hit the next stage in the business?
So right there, I was doing that for a while, you know. A lot of things happened between that, you know, like a lot. Like,
right.
I wound up going to another dispensary and working there, and then bringing that idea again over there. Like a couple of years passed, you know, and then in 2013 is when like I was like starting to go to other dispensaries. Then I will make them, and then I'll go around selling them around North Hollywood, Van Nuys, like all the like local, you know. I wasn't going too far, like just there was a lot of shops in the Valley at that time, you know. Right in 2013, it was booming. The Valley, there was a dispensary in every corner, you know.
Right.
Sure.
So I will make them, package them, and then boom, take them to the dispensaries. And then it got really crazy, because then like people was asking for them. Like there was, hey Scooby, like you got more Scooby snacks. Like it started getting more and more popular. So then I needed help, you know. And then that's when I started recruiting. Like I recruited my boy JT, rest in peace. He passed away a couple of years ago. And then so he was leaving somewhere, and I was living, like at that time I already had worked things out with my girl, so we were living together and right there in Van Nuys.
She saw the wisdom of the Scooby snack.
Ah man, I don't know about that. Yeah, but I was I worked it out with her. I brought JT in to help me package, and then that's when I met little Brian, and he was like a young kid that like we met through like some events that I was doing, and then I brought little Brian in to like help me make the brownies, you know. So then at one point, like Brian was making the brownies, JT was packaging them, and then I was going out there and selling them.
Hold on. I don't mean to interrupt, but I just want to understand this. So are you still like operating out of your like apartment? Like you just got
now?
No.
At that time,
like were you like just opening it up and you were like, look, bro, you had like a bunch of cookie sheets and shit?
Bro. So like when I would buy the brownie mix at Walmart for $1.29.
Yeah.
Bring them to the
Betty
crib.
Crocker, baby.
You know what I'm saying? Like make the Scooby snacks, package it all up. And then I had like a clear bin, like one I bought it at IKEA.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to come in. A lot of shops was getting raided around the time too, you know. So I didn't want to come in with like a duffel bag or like a black plastic bin, because I didn't want to like, oh, he got like weed. He go, like I didn't want to get robbed.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't want the feds to pull up on me or the cops. So I made sure I got like a clear bin, so everybody knew I had edibles in there. So
and then you put some dirty laundry on top of it, so they thought
I wasn't worried about the edibles. I just didn't want like nobody to think that it was weed.
Right.
Because there's a big difference. You
Right.
know? You see the guy with a bunch of brownies, and then you see the guy with 200 packs. You know what I mean? Like, it's a big difference.
Right.
So I will knock on doors and be like, yo, I got edibles. Like, you guys want, and then they would like pick through the box, you know? And that's how it started. I'll just bring the whole bin, like, yo, you want to check out some brownies? And they would just pick like the best ones, you know?
But then, like, at what point did you move the operation up higher where you're like, okay, I gotta rent a space or something. I can't be trying to make brownies like this.
So
anymore.
when I was working all of this, I was still working as a security, you know?
Right.
And then I end up going to Fontana to work at this one dispensary called Kosher Caregivers. And I was working as a security, and then I brought hey, I could make brownies, you know?
Yeah.
So I started bringing the brownies, and then one of the owners, because I was an armed guard, so I left my gun in the safe. And then at nighttime, he was partying, and he grabbed my gun and he shot inside the store.
No.
What?
Straight up. He was just drunk. And
What the
I left
fuck?
my gun
Yeah,
there.
dude, it's like a Pablo Escobar thing, man.
They're just feeling all crazy and shoot the gun.
Woo!
You know? But he had people there, so they got scared. And
Yeah.
They ran out. And in Fontana, they have these little things in the posts where you could hear like where the gunshot came from. So then the cops came and arrested him.
Oh, that's not good.
So I get a call like at 4 a.m, like, hey, somebody used your gun. You got to come right now. So then I show up
Fill
to
out a report.
Fontana, and then they're like, the other owners pulled up, you know, and they're like, hey, Scooby, like, this happened. His name is Kevin. Kevin is in jail now, so like you gotta run the store. Like, we don't got nobody else. So I became the manager of the store
Just like that.
overnight.
Just
you know?
like that.
Because Kevin was fucking around.
Kevin was fucking around, and he
The
was locked
hands
up.
of fate turn.
Bro, it was like I'm like sleeping, and I get the call, and I had just got home because it was far. Like Fontana to the Valley is like an hour and a half. You know,
Yeah.
so I just showed up home, and I called JT. I remember this clear. It's like, hey JT, we gotta go back, dog. Like, Kevin shot somebody. I didn't know. Like, I just heard like somebody used your gun. You know.
Right.
So me and JT drove all the way back to Fontana, and then that's when we found out what happened. And
Did they give you like a ruby ring and like,
nah,
you're the-
man, they didn't do that. But they're like, oh, we're gonna give you some percentages. I've never seen those percentages, bro. But so I was working at when I started right there, that place was like 12, 15 people every day, you know.
Yeah.
By the time Kevin came out of jail, I had like 300 people every day coming through the door. You know, I just used my charisma, and I was right there working every day. I
Right.
painted the spot. I mean, I ran it like if it was mine. You know?
Right.
Right.
So when Kevin came out of jail, he didn't like that I was like
Hey.
running it, you know. So he fired me.
What?
How?
Yeah, he's
Oh,
like, bro,
sour
like
grapes.
he wanted to put me back as a security, and then
Nah, and you were like,
I was
"Hey,
like,
don't
man,
work
I'm
like
doing
that."
too much now. Like,
Yeah.
I brought this, I made this happen.
Hey,
dog,
guess
you know?
what, Kevin? I ran this whole thing. I didn't shoot this gun off once.
You know, I was working hard, man. Like, so I didn't feel right. I feel like I don't know. I feel like he was gonna like. I was starting to feel used. You know,
Right, of course.
Like I put all this work in, and then out of nowhere he just like puts me back in my corner. Like, you know, it just feel
fuck
fucked up.
that.
You know.
Fuck that.
So
For all that.
I left there. I took the little money that I saved, and I rented a house on Victory and Woodman. It was like a back house. It was like $2,000 a month, and then that's when I recruited JT and Brian to come and help me and like try to like at least make the rent. You know, like every month.
Right.
So I figured like, man, if I can sell 2,000 brownies in a month for $1, I'll pay for the rent. That's good enough, you know. And that was like the leap of like the first like big one of like, man, fuck it, I gotta do something, you know, like
Yeah.
I'm gonna go a little harder or whatever. But
Yeah.
I mean,
so-
put some fucking faith and belief in your abilities.
Man, bro.
Fuck it.
that's how it went. And then from there, things started working, and then I was delivering more. I started meeting shop owners, and then one day somebody was like, "Yo, man, like, why don't you open a shop?" And I was like, "Man, it's hard. You need papers. You need this. You need." I didn't know what you needed, you know.
I need something.
I mean, I don't know what I needed at the time, but he
Yeah.
was like, "Yo, you don't need nothing. Just fucking open it." So that shit fucking clicked, you know. I started like, man, I'm gonna find a spot.
Yeah.
So I found a spot on Lancashire and Oxnard, and I didn't have no money still, but I had this little Honda that I bought for $400.
Yeah.
And I talked to he was like a mechanic shop, and he had like a little office he was renting. And I was like, hey, bro, like, I don't got no money, but like, if you let me open a store here, you can have the Honda. And that's how, and he fucking took the Honda, dog. And then that's how it started. And then I opened the dispensary.
What did you call it?
The NoHo Shop.
The NoHo Shop.
You know,
Because you didn't have any hoes there.
Nah, that was in North Hollywood, so it's like, that's known as the NoHo, like, NoHo area or
Cool. Oh, I
whatever.
get it.
So the NoHo Shop. So that's how it started, you know? And I rocked that for a little bit. And then on November 1st, 2013,
Yeah.
they the city came and kicked us out.
What?
Because that's when the new Prop D passed. So it was like a new, like, you know, I was working under Prop 215. Things were kind of loose. And then Prop D passed. And then, like, you're like, if you don't move by November 1st, you had to pay like $5 or $10 a day, like
What?
fines or whatever. So the landlord wanted us out.
Shit.
And I had put a lot into that dispensary, you know, like I was rocking there, and I don't know, man. I just went to a little depression mode, and I didn't want to work in weed no more. I was just done, you know. So I got an opportunity to start working at the radio station, 93.5 K-Day, and my boy DJ Showtime.
When was this? When
This
was
is November 2013.
Okay.
So it's like November 1st, 2013. So
Right.
Showtime got me an interview. I went in there, and at that time, K-Day was kind of getting ready to be sold. There was like a Korean company that was going to buy them out, and they were kind of going out of business. But they needed somebody for the meantime to kind of hold things down.
What were you gonna do?
So I was going to be like in charge of like the marketing, you know.
All right.
So they needed somebody to like. Basically, I was the babysitter for the street team.
Yeah.
That's what I was, you know.
Yeah.
Like, so they had a couple of street teamers, and they need somebody to babysit them, and that was my position. you know?
So what goes into that? Because I don't think a lot of people really understand, like, just about. I mean, maybe Big Lux does, but like, what is a street team
Man, like in the radio, I mean, there's a couple of different street teams. You
for
know,
the
like,
radio?
For the radio, a street teamer is like somebody that's really gonna be representing your radio station. They go out there to remote, like different stores that the sales department kind of set it up, and then they show up and they do like a live remote. They're there, hey, come and get tickets over here. We're at Metro PCS. You know, that's what the street team does. They're
And
kind of
that-
like the people in the streets that are like giving away the tickets.
But
or-
but the point is to draw a crowd to that business
Correct.
and make it look like it's popping.
That's like
Right?
that's the job of the street team right there.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. It's got
It's
be
really
popping.
like to network with the brands that they're selling ads to,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to get their business cracking or whatever, you know.
Because I feel like for like a radio street team, you might have a lot of people that are thinking like, at some point I'm gonna be the DJ.
It happens, bro. I seen it. I know girls that started in the K-Day street team that became radio personalities.
Sally
You know?
Jesse Raphael.
It's just like, you know what I mean? You if you got it,
Hey, you got it.
you got it. And people, it's like you're around people that they're gonna see, you know.
Right. But like, how do you get yourself seen as kind of like a personality on the street team?
Man, you get the mic, you know, because you take the mic with you
Yeah.
and the speaker to every event.
Yeah.
So if you got the boss to grab the mic and say some shit, then
So was Big Boy in the morning? Was he on the street team at one point? Like a big dude just running around?
I don't know, you know. I
Yeah,
don't
he
know.
was.
Was he?
Yeah.
Was he?
I'm sure.
Yeah, he was.
I'm
They
sure.
were doing all that, bro. And back in the day, street teams too for radio stations were out, also going to clubs, mingling
sure.
with DJs, getting DJs to play different albums,
Yeah.
break albums, and like street team had a lot of that stuff to do.
A
with
lot
it,
more
too, you
juice
know?
in the
Yeah,
streets
yeah,
before.
yeah.
But it also depends on the radio station, you know.
Absolutely.
Because at K-Day, it's like they don't have a strong signal. So it's like only so many people could listen to them, you know. Like say like in the valley, their signal's kind of slow, like low, so you know, you can't really get that crowd. So like say like another like Power, they signal strong, you know, or like Kiss FM, their signal strong. So their street team has more power because their radio stations are bigger, you know.
Right. More people heard him.
More people could
yeah.
hear
How
them.
do you
know?
how do you corral them? Like how do you manage street teams then?
Bro,
What's
it's
the
tough,
secret?
man. And
It sounds hard.
it was really hard, but also like, you know, I was a big kid, man, so I was part of the mess. You know,
Right.
I was part of the problem at some point, you know, because I was like, you know, like I remember clearly there was one time that one of the street teams, they did something they shouldn't, And I'm like covering up for them, you know, and I'm not like, I'm the boss of the street team. I'm not supposed to be covering up for them.
Right.
And I remember my boss is like, dude, why are you covering up for them? Like wow,
Loyalty,
they're fucking
man.
cool, man. Like I like them. They're my friends now too. So, and that's like, I don't know. That's one of my faults. I make friends with people, you know?
Yeah.
And then it's hard. Like even now, like what I'm doing now, like I make friends with the securities at work and I'm like I'm
Hard
in
to-
trouble, you know? Because like, you know, they're messing up or whatever. And then I'm like,
And you got dropped the hammer.
you know, and then
But
it's
they're
not cool
good
no more.
dudes.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
cool, you know? Like,
Yeah.
it's tough, man.
Yeah, it is. It is, but yeah.
But yeah, so the
But
radio.
sometimes that hammer got a drop.
Yeah, man. Sometimes you can't be friends with everybody.
But trip out on this though, man. While I was driving over here, I passed by the old KD station
Mhm.
because it's on the way here. It's on Wilshire,
Yeah.
and 2016, December 23rd is when I quit my job to restart the Mystery Baking Company.
Is that right?
How'd that decision come about?
Man, bro, it took me like a couple of weeks, and I was, you know, I mean, it's gonna sound kind of weird, you know, but I was listening to Steve Harvey, man, and he kept saying like,
yeah.
make the leap of faith, man, make
Yeah.
the leap of faith. So that stuck with me, and I was just keeping like,
yeah.
I was thinking like, man, this is not gonna work. Like the radio station is not for me. Like,
Right.
it's not working. Like I was always broke. I was, you know, like things weren't working
It's
out.
hard to deny the mustache.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just, I don't know. It was not working for me.
Right.
You know,
You weren't working for yourself.
I was working for somebody else. I was showing up always late. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't working. You know,
Right.
like I wasn't clicking with the station no more. Like
Mm-hmm.
they were mad at me because I was starting to do my own parties.
Mm-hmm.
Like I started doing the Rhymefest series concerts, and then they got mad about that. So we were just clicking no more. You know, it was like it's starting to become a conflict of interest, and it was either like drop everything and just focus on the station, or like fuck the station and go try something else. You know,
So Steve Harvey said, you know what? Leap of faith.
man, bro, it was in my ear. Like I keep like I feel like I was dreaming about it.
Right.
I kept hearing that dude saying it in my ear, like, man, make the leap of faith, make the leap of faith.
Yeah.
And then there's this girl. She's a like a graffiti artist or muralist, San Juan. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but San Juan, she's kind of big in the LA scene. Like she does a lot of big paintings, you know. And she was looking for somebody to do a video for her. And I was that bored at work. I was like, man, I could do a video for her. I hit her up like, hey, you need a video? I come through. She's like, all right, come. I just left the radio station. Like I just left like it was 3 p.m. I just left and went to go do this video for her. And all day she took me to like 3 people, or she was the 4th one, but she's like, all right, you're gonna get in the car with him and shoot his story, and then put it all together to promote some event that she was doing. And then we went to a warehouse with, I only remember 2 of those guys that I met, but the first guy that I went to, he had a clothing line. And so I went with him, and we're driving around, and I'm capturing his story, and he's telling me like about this leap of faith, man, that he took. He's like, yeah, I just had to do it, and now look at me. Like he was telling me about how successful he became in the clothing business, and I was like, damn, that's crazy. And I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was gonna be like a graffiti video that she wanted to shoot or something, but she had another idea. I didn't know. I just showed up, so I shot that. She took me to another guy that like he sells watches, and I'm capturing his story of like, man, I started selling watches at the Swami. Now I got my own thing. I'm selling Rolexes. Like damn, like in his like all the stories are like it was like this big grind until finally it was successful, you know. But I was like, man, like I go through that grind. The 3rd guy, boom. The 4th guy, like the last guy I went to, it was somebody in the cannabis industry. They're still in the cannabis industry today. And I was getting his story. So now when I went home, the next day I quit my job.
Right. You were getting.
I never finished her video. If she's listening, San Juan, I'm so sorry. Like I didn't give her video.
Just ghosted.
Got all pumped
I
up.
ghosted
and
her,
left.
bro.
But
I was so like excited that I just, I left.
did your thing.
I left.
Yeah.
I left K-Day the next day, and it was December 23rd, 2016.
Wait. Today's December 23rd.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's
what
a
I'm saying.
trip, bro.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
and
It was
so
like
he left that at that point in time to go start mystery baking.
I left that to start mystery baking.
So now, right, Rocky Balboa,
Yeah,
you finally broke free.
man.
So what do you do?
So man, I'm at first I didn't know I didn't know what I was gonna do. I just knew that wasn't it, you know.
Right.
And I had to free myself to have the time and energy to do something else.
And your girl totally understood.
My girl, not really, not really. She's been supportive the whole way, man. You know.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I got to give it to her, but like it was tough.
But sometimes the women
know?
don't like it when you leave a secure thing.
I mean,
And then you don't
but
really
I
have a
was
plan.
Doing too much on the radio, bro. I was going to all the parties.
Yeah.
You know, I was
Oh,
out and
all right.
about every week. Like,
Right,
you know
right.
what I mean? Like,
Quality time.
I was doing too much. I was having too much fun at the radio station.
Got it.
Because it comes with a lot of perks. you
It's
know?
work,
It
baby.
don't come with no money, but it comes with a lot of perks.
Hey,
right.
this is just work.
You know? So
I
yeah,
gotta
so
work.
I did that. I quit the job. It was Christmas time, and then I was like, you know what? Because I was doing edibles before, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, man, I'm gonna get back into the edibles. Like, I'm gonna do that. So I called somebody, and I was like, hey, dog, I need a pound of shake. I want to make some butter. And he's like, all right, don't trip. Call me at 2:00. I got you. Man, I was excited, you know. I was like, man, I'm gonna start with like, if I just gotta make the butter, like it will start from there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I called him at 2:00. He didn't pick up. 3, nobody. 4, 5, 6, 7. All day I call him. He never answered my call. And I'm like, man, I quit my job. I'm having second thoughts, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like midnight, and I'm like stressed out the whole day, you know. And then I remember one dude that like he was like serving me weed when I had the trap shop in North Hollywood. And Frank Roca, I called him. I was like, Frank, like, man, you got any shake, bro? Like, I only got a couple of $100. Like, I just need a pound or two to get me started. And dude starts laughing. He's like, Scooby, the first 100 are free, dog. Just come and get them. So I literally, like at midnight, dude, I fucking got in my car and I drove all the way to like Merced or like up north, you know? And I picked up these 100 pounds of shake, dog. I drove them back to my crib. And now I got this big ass tote of fucking shake in my crib, and the weed starts stinking.
Yeah.
My neighbors are like, "Hey, what's that?"
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Shit, I
Don't
gotta
worry
get this
about
out of here," you know? I don't know, like I gotta get this out of here. So I was like, "Man, I'm gonna go on Craigslist and see if I can find a little spot I can rent." I went to one spot. The lady's like, we don't have nothing here. Like, that's not gonna work. I went to another, because I mean, one thing I learned, bro, you gotta keep it real with the landlords.
Right.
You can't go there and bullshit them. Like, you're gonna be trapping some shit. You gotta tell them. And if they're not down with it,
Right.
they're not
Better
down
to-
with it.
it's better
You
to
what I
know
mean? Like,
now than later.
because later they're gonna get you in trouble. So
Right.
Yeah.
I went to one spot and he's like, I was like, hey man, I want to rent your spot. I want to make like these weed butters. And he's like, you're crazy, dog. You can't do it here. But I know somebody. So there was another spot across the street that was like a trappier spot that the dude was kind of down for whatever.
Trappier.
He's like, go talk to him, and I tell him I sent you. So I just literally went across the street, and the dude rent me a little closet. It's like a 5x5 for like $400 a month, and that's where it started.
A Honda.
You know what I mean? Like small, like, and man, it just started getting crazier. Like I started doing it. I went, and the first store, once I set it up, I mean, I tried to do it legit, you know, like I had like more knowledge about the radio and marketing. So I printed the labels, you know, I got the right jars. I spent some time, you know, and then the first store I went to, which was Chase Woods on Woodman and Chase in North Hollywood. I went to this, I walk in all happy as fuck with my 12 butters. Like, and the dude, like, it wasn't the owner, but somebody that was working there, he looks at me, he's like, hey man, I never heard of you, dog. Why would I buy your butter? The first shop I went to, bro, why would I carry your shit? Like, I don't know you, I never heard of you. And he's like, man, I'm at all the festivals, I'm at all these events. Like, if I never heard of you, dog, you're like a nobody. Bro, I was working at the radio. I was dealing with people every day. Like, I was like, man, I consider myself like the house party king of the valley, dog. Like, I can't even tell you how many parties I thrown in my time. I knew everybody in the valley.
This is the one guy that hadn't heard of you.
I was like, man, and bro, I walked out of there with my tails between my leg, dog.
Your Scooby
And
tail.
I was like, fuck, dog. Like, I need to fucking let people know who I am, you know?
Right.
Like, I need to get out there. Like, so that inspired me, dude, to like go every weekend to every event. I started going to like all the High Times events. I started going to all the sessions. I started going to anything that I could. I was out every day. I just apply all that hustle from the radio station as a street team and put it into the mystery baking and going out there.
Why is it mystery?
Man, you know, it's the played off on the Scooby-Doo theme, you know?
Yeah,
because
Mystery Machine is the name of the band.
Oh,
the
I forgot
Scooby-Doo team, they had the Mystery Inc., which is like their company. So like they're driving around, but they have a company that solves mysteries.
Got it.
So they got the Mystery Inc. So
Got it.
you know, me and my I always like my whole growing up, I always been part of like that weird group, you know, like there's always been the cool kids and then us, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
there's like the dudes that are like. There's like, you know, a Brazilian guy. There's a Mexican guy. There's a Guatemalan guy. There's a white guy.
Yeah, you guys
You know
are
what I
a
mean?
fucking
Like-
ragtag
Dude,
team.
Motley.
Yeah,
Motley crew.
You know what I'm saying? We never been like the clean cut, like
Yeah,
It's always been
I
one
like
of
that
the-
better.
The
like,
big
you know?
red one.
yeah, we're
Like
a
all
big
those-
gumbo, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Big gumbo.
so I feel like the Scooby Doo, you know, that's how they are. There's like a weird girl, there's a smart girl, there's a cute girl, there's
Right,
the dog,
Right,
there's
it's an
a
ugly
stoner,
chick.
there's Fred with the thing, you know. So
yeah, Ascot.
Let me tell you, man, these guys showed up Mystery Bacon for an OTX release we did. They've done a bunch of stuff with cookies.
Well, it makes sense.
Burners on hay. They've done the it's called what is it? The bacon paint,
yeah, it's the puff paint.
puff paint.
That's
They're
dope.
all fucking stone and fucking
Dope.
paint.
Oh, that
and
sounds
create
fucking
shit. and
phenomenal.
Lots of things. With me and Snoop Christian,
Yeah.
we're putting together this big OTX collaboration
All
drop,
right.
and I'm like, I'm gonna have DJ Oso, and we're figuring out different things. And like, maybe we should call up Scooby, man, do some snacks, some baking snacks. You know, wow,
Yeah.
real catering truck outside, but something cool, you know.
Mhm.
So him and his team came through the whole station, brought the fucking wheel from Italy.
Bro, that was ill,
One of
dog.
the big wheels, bro. They were tossing the pasta around in the cheese wheel.
What?
Yeah, bro. Then they were making crepes, breakfast crepes, bro. I can't even describe these things, dude. They were making little pancakes.
Like infused crab?
No. Everything uninfused
Got it.
for that day. And that
For
shop.
Got it. But could you get
Usually, yeah, they got
from
everything for it.
Mystery?
That's what
Yeah,
we do.
that's
Yeah.
what they do. Infused baking.
Holy
But this day
shit.
it wasn't. Bro, let me tell you something. I started bringing OTX cats, friends, over, hey, you got to try this. And they started tasting these fucking crepes and shit. I was eating the pasta.
What kind of pasta? Like
Penne pasta in like a olive oil, butter, and fucking Parmesan with garlic.
Bro, at the
Tossed around.
clothing pop up, bro. You
At
know
the
what I
clothing
mean?
store at Cookies Melrose.
Must have been
She was
That
bumping,
like a
dog.
5-star dinner right there, man.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Chefs. All in chef whites. They all
Right.
had clogs on.
Yeah.
Just like chefs.
So Gordon
No,
Ramsay.
they were all fucking chefed out.
Yeah.
And
Like with the
it was
hat?
great. Yeah, with
the hat.
With the hat.
What?
Yeah, because, like, you know, between the story, man, like, once we started getting serious, you know,
Yeah.
like, right after, man, we decided to go back to school to learn the craft because now it's, like, getting serious. We got to perfect this, you know?
But you gotta be real
So,
fucking
yeah,
bakers.
you got to be real bakers because now you can be right there representing mystery baking and you don't, you know?
Dude, you're Wolfgang Puff.
You know what I mean?
Oh, he's stupid, dog. He's stupid. Wolfgang Puff.
Wolfgang Puff, bro.
Bro, man, I'm Scooby mystery baking.
Yeah,
dog.
but you gotta get a Wolfgang Puff. California cuisine, dude.
Come on, man. It's cannabis cuisine, man.
That's it, baby. I love it.
So yeah, we get down on the baking, man, you know, and but yeah, hey bro, I really want to say I thank you. And thank you to Christian too, man, for putting us on because
Salute.
I really appreciate that, dog. Like it feels like you know, I don't know, man. It just feels real good. I want to say thank you because it's hard to get opportunities, man. You don't get luck all the time. You know what I mean?
I get
So,
luck every Friday.
Yeah, it is. And you know what, man?
I'm really thankful, bro. I want you to know that, man.
Oh,
Straight
bro,
up,
you're
dog,
welcome,
'cause-
Scooby.
Listen, a scholar and a gentleman, this
sir.
man, big.
I feel like, you know what, man? I think that, you know, I think originally we met over at the cookies party.
Yeah, I
Remember the
pulled
cookies party?
I do remember.
And you were telling me then, you're like, hey man, this is what I do, this, and we're
I
doing
seen
that,
you,
and
bro.
can you maybe post this, or can you want to come to this? And I remember your little hustle. I had one of my camaradas with me that night, and he was like, we peeped us out, we took a picture with you, right?
Yeah.
And then you stayed on and you hit me, and I'm like, okay. And when you would like lock down the Burners on Hate with the puff paint,
Yeah.
I thought that was dope. It was different.
It's definitely
I
different.
was like, okay, now we're gonna help this guy out. He called me about some flyers at the big warehouse party. Like, all right, let's set this guy up with Christian. Hopefully he comes through. And Christian's like, yeah, dude came through. He was on time. He had his shit. Da, da, da. And more, I started seeing him being consistent on following up on shit. You know,
like a real guy.
like a real fucking human being.
Right.
And so, yeah, we had that opportunity. There's going to be a lot more
I appreciate
opportunities.
that.
We're
Come
going
on, bring
to
'em on. We
continue
ready.
to
We
bring you
ready.
guys around, man, and let's continue to do some things. And eventually, you might see some real cool stuff between our brands.
Yes, sir.
Listen,
and
I
Mystery
can't
Baking.
think of anything that makes more sense to me than a company called Cookies
Bridging with Mystery Baking.
with Mystery Bacon.
So it's not a mystery. It's
It's-
no longer a mystery.
It's a
You know,
no-brainer.
the mystery is love, man, because it's like a lot of people don't have that in them no more, and I just like to give that a lot, man, and it's like that's the mystery, there's a lot of love behind the scenes that goes into making everything. And you gave me a lot of love, bro, because you didn't have to set me up with Christian. It wasn't even something you had to do, and you're like, man, go over there, he got you. And I just I did the work, but it was like, man, the guidance, and like, yo, do it, like, go over here, do that, call him. I appreciate that, man, because there's a lot of people now, not only in the cannabis industry, but in the world, that is not like they're not willing to help, or they pass you by and they just keep pushing,
Right.
And Big Luck took a look and
Took
was
a
like,
shine.
you know what I mean? Like, I
Took a
appreciate
shot
that,
at it.
dog. Like,
Yeah.
it's dope,
I don't want to
man.
see my brothers win.
You know what I mean?
Well, this guy knows quality. You know what I mean? He doesn't
Thank you,
fuck
bro.
around.
So when you guys invited me to do the Cookies OTX collab release, man, I was like, man, I got to show out for Luck, dog.
Yeah, and you did.
and
And
you
you
did.
did, and you shot great content, and we posted that shit up,
Yes,
a
sir.
lot of us.
Yes, sir.
And it was great, man. So it's like, you guys need to follow Mystery Baking. Keep an
on.
eye on what's going on.
Where
They're
do
going to
they-
be involved in, and we're going to tell them, they're going to be involved in more things that we got planned out through the course of next year. So keep an eye out. But Scooby,
Yeah.
why don't you tell people how to find you? Where do they go?
Bro, mystery.baking on Instagram. Mystery.baking on Instagram. There you go. That's it, man. We got that. We on Social Club too, man. Mystery Baking on Social Club.
Yeah.
So if you've plugged up with Social Club, man, follow
Get on
us.
Social Club.
Mystery Baking on Social Club, man. It's where it's at, And man, if you got Lucky's number, you got my number. So if you need to hit me up, hit up Lucky, man.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah. Or use my name when you DM.
Let's go. That's good enough.
And there's plenty of more stuff coming up, Scooby.
I appreciate
all
it,
right?
man. Thank
I
you, brother.
appreciate you,
For real.
brother. You're a good man. Hey, guys, Mystery Baking. Follow Mystery Baking. And look at all these gifts he brought us, man.
Hey.
He's
Is that
looking
flour
out,
or
man.
is that
That's
edible?
flour.
That's flour. So yeah, man.
What's the matter with you?
Yeah.
You need some of that flour? You're asking a lot about it. Do you need some?
I'm good.
Okay.
I didn't bring the edibles today, man, because
It's all right.
the flour though is I
The
brought some
flour's
flour,
the
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
I'm glad you brought flour.
Yeah, some Granddaddy Purple. It's some some OG strain. It's fire.
Thank you, brother. Man, Mystery Baking. My
Let's
boy
go.
Scooby in the house.
Hey, thank you for having me, man.
Okay, thank you for coming in today and blessing us. Chuman, what you got, partner?
Hey, I got Ovando Bowen, LLP. We wear braids to court. Let the tomahawks fly. The best legal representation that money can buy. That's what I got.
Yes, sir. Hey, Big Pig Mike, what you got?
Yes, sir. Got Mike Angelo Photography IG, bigpigmike.com coming up to y'all. And shout out to everybody who's listening. All Mr. and Mrs. Earbuds. Shout out to y'all.
Thanks, Big Dick Mike.
Oh, I didn't know.
Hey, King Salmon. Big Dick Salmon.
Whoa. Big fin Sam.
Secondbags.com.
Yeah.
Total bag needs, get to
Yeah.
21 faster. If you want to see my my art and my photographs, go to Beyond Dragon. It's my Instagram.
What's your art, dude?
Oh, What do you do?
Yeah, do you puff?
What do you do?
I take photographs. I draw.
Oh, he's a
That's me.
photographer.
Oh, he's a photographer.
Drawing.
Oh, so it's photography and the
Drawing.
bags, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Got you.
Right.
Excellent.
Oh,
And
blue eye.
Sean.
Yeah.
Sean at movemental.media for all that audio stuff you need.
Ooh.
And
And you do some visuals too.
oh, I do
Right,
do visuals.
dude.
I do your
Editor.
visuals.
Editor. I mean, if you
Visual
want your
editor.
fucking let me
That's
do this
right.
for you.
Okay, yeah.
If you want your podcast filmed and edited
Right.
and produced, my man Sean can do it all.
Right.
Look at that.
Get a hold of Sean.
Listen, this guy's running this whole thing.
I
right
know.
here. He's also, by the way, he's set up. He's got an actual also editor who's putting together things at the same time for him. He's directing the whole thing. He's a director.
Man, he's a director. Okay.
Director Sean.
Then if you want to do a short film, you can call Sean. He can
Call
figure that out
Sean.
for you too.
Fuck it.
Screen test.
Let's do it.
TV
This guy-
show,
screen
mini
test.
series.
Documentary.
If you can't afford a Esteban, just
A
call
commercial?
Sean.
Exactly. Exactly.
If you can't afford Esteban, call Sean.
That's right.
That's right.
If you can't
I'm
afford
I'm the poor man.
Patrick Hollick as Esteban, and you can't afford Big Pig Mike or King Salmon, just
Yeah,
get
call
it.
me. Yeah.
No. Who's that?
Check it out. Hit us
He's
up
somewhere
at
between Mike and Sam. I'm just kidding.
Hey, why don't you get right in between Mike and Salmon? Huh? Let's get this show really popping out. There's some real baking going.
Yeah, we don't want this.
Get that
this
butter.
room smelling anymore.
Get that butter, boy.
Weird dick shit coming.
Okay, www.hardluckshow.com. That's right, www.hardluckshow.com.
Dude, we were so close to not having to go off the rails, man. We were
Yeah.
like that close.
Hardbutter.com.
It's always better when it goes off the rails. man.
Hey. All right, thank you,
All right,
buddy.
thank you,
Listen,
man.
guys, we're out of here.
Yes.
Follow Mystery Baking. Get some
go.
of their edibles
Yeah.
and get high. All
Get
right.
high.
Hasta la vista.